All right, welcome everyone to our weekly TNT coaching session. Today, there's some weather issues in Washington, making it difficult for Bill to join us. But we're going to have this meeting today. Is Jennifer Neitzel on anywhere? Okay, she should be joining us today. Um, and so here's how it works. First of all, if you don't know me, if that's possible, my name is Laura Biewer, and I am Coach Meet Laura. I do the work. I coach notaries across the U.S. I'm a co-creator of NBB with Bill and Jen, as well as the CNTVA. And that's probably all you need. Oh, and I almost forgot, co-author of the best-selling book, Beyond Loan Signings, How to Monetize Your Commission Through Specialty Work. Glad you all could be here today. And as I'm rattling off, if you have questions that are burning in your mind, please get that hand up there so that you can get in line and I can see you up at the top corner because there's like 5 pages of cameras. So I need everybody pushed to that top left corner and I can see you're waiting to ask a question. Okay. Excellent. There we go. Great. So now I do see some questions are happening, percolating there. If you have a question as we move on, I ask that you use the raised hand feature to let me know that you have a question. Also, please stay in mute until it's your turn to ask the question. Sometimes I think our PCs are like haunted and they have a mind of their own and you were on mute for a while and all of a sudden we're listening to all your details, right? So please make sure. And if your camera can be on, at least when you're asking the question, that's really helpful. Please remember to tell me your state if it's not saying it on the label on your camera. All right, I think that's all we need at this point. We'll take a break for announcements in a little bit. And my first person is Kathleen Woodruff.
Hi, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. So I got a phone call today from a gentleman who said he owned a property in Texas and that it was sold fraudulently and that the notary who executed the documents was me. And I got as much information from him as I could. I got the title company name from him and I reached out to the title company and they sent me a copy of the executed documents. And thankfully, it wasn't me. Unfortunately, though, it's somebody posing as me.
Mm-hmm.
They've ordered a stamp with my name on it and they're signing my name. And they took fraudulent IDs from, I don't even know, could be the same person doing all of it. I'm not sure. Right. So I'm working with the title company to, show them this is actually my stamp and this is my signature and all of that. Right. But I'm pretty rattled by this because now, are they doing this again? And what else is out there? And is there anything that I'm going to be responsible to do besides basically what I've done already? I've never heard of this happening and I just don't really have any experience with having to protect myself from the fraud. I thought we were doing that on behalf of our signers.
Yeah, it does happen. And depending on what your state is, then there are instructions about what to do if your seal is lost, broken, or stolen. So Kathleen, remind me of your state.
I'm in Connecticut.
So in Connecticut, in your handbook, there should be direction about what you're supposed to do. Likely report it to Secretary of State. It might also be a police report of some kind as well. And if you're carrying E&O insurance, I'd be letting them know as well.
Okay. So is it, so they did not steal my stamp. It
doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Your stamp, the image of your office is being used. The Secretary of State needs to be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fraud activity. So police need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and if you've got E&O insurance, they need to know in case somebody tries to sue you over all of this.
Okay. So start with the Secretary of State and then let my insurance company know.
And file a police report that your seal's being utilizing fraudulently.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Very good.
Thank you.
Sorry about that happening, but it does happen. Okay. Larry, I know you're in California, Larry. What's your question?
Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Excellent. Because last time I tried to talk, my mic didn't work.
Mhm.
Actually, I have a question, a theory question that was brought up in one of the Yahoo Notary groups that I'm a part of.
Okay.
A document was presented as a way of getting around the stricture that California notaries have about doing I-9. I have the document if I can share my screen, or else I can put it in chat. But basically, the document itself was a hot mess. But as we talked about it, the theory behind it was that we could notarize a document that said that it was presented, that the document that we're signing was just that the person showed us this document, this I-9, and filled it out in front of us. And all we're certifying by this really terrible document is that we watched them fill it out. And I'm wondering about the theory itself, not that we filled out an I-9, but that we watched this person fill out an I-9.
But Larry, that's not a certification we're allowed to make. We're allowed to certify somebody's signature to a document, but we can't certify we watch somebody fill out a form. That's not a certification a notary in California can make. So the answer is no.
Okay. So, like, all right, I understand that, but isn't that what an acknowledgement is? No, acknowledgement is that the person told us that they prove that their signature is a correct signature, that they've proven to us that they are who they are, correct?
Well, not quite. An acknowledgement, the signer's job is to prove to me that they signed it. My job is to prove they're the right person who signed it, that they are who they claim. But nowhere in there does it say, and I watched them fill out anything.
Okay, but isn't that what a jurat is? A jurat is the first, wait, let me get this straight in my head. A jurat is that the person is attesting to the validity of the document in question.
Right, but that's correct. That's correct. But again, it doesn't say that I watched them fill it out.
Okay.
Right. So I want you to think this is broader than just this one. California, not only can we not do representative capacity, we cannot make any other certifications about that signer other than their name. So if it said this guy who signed it is a US citizen, I can't notarize that. If it said he was a resident of California, I can't notarize that. If it said he was 5'10", I cannot notarize that. Right? I cannot certify anything else about that signer, only that this is who he is and that he signed the document. That's the only two things I can say.
Okay. So if this were presented as a jurat, all we're saying is that the person told us, the person has shown themselves to be who they say they are, and that they are attesting or swearing to the validity of the document in question.
And it says subscribed and sworn at the beginning of that, Larry. So what does that mean? It means he signed it and he took an oath in front of me. So that's what I'm certifying.
Right. So this horrible, horrible document that we were discussing is useless completely in and of itself. Right?
Yeah. But whether it was a good document or a bad document, the answer is no. And the reason it's no is because it's asking me to certify something I'm not allowed to certify in my state.
Right. Okay. That's pretty much the conclusion we came to.
Okay.
But we were thinking, if this document were rewritten, could it be useful? But even if it's rewritten,
I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't worry about that because that's not our job.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers my question.
Okay, Larry.
That ends the discussion that we were having.
All right. Thank you for asking it. Because I think that's important. A lot of notaries in states where they cannot certify capacity, or excuse me, or capacity, or really any other certification about the signer, clever people will put in innocuous things that don't seem like any big deal. But remember, if you're signing that certificate and it says it in there, that's what you're certifying.
This person took it to actually a UPS notary. And from what we were told, the UPS notary just looked at it and attached an acknowledgement, and they went on about their business.
Well, I'd hate to say that all UPS notaries do the same thing, but because they see a huge variety of documents, you think they get more experience, but they see that as a task amongst all the other tasks they have to do in their day. So they don't tend to take quite as much care with evaluating every certificate to ensure that it does not ask me to certify something beyond the scope of my office.
Okay.
So thank goodness everybody here is not that.
Thank you, Art.
All right, Larry, you're welcome. Okay, Yvette, I see your hand up.
Hi, I'm sorry I can't turn on my video right now.
Okay,
But-
it's all right.
Thank you for taking my question, which is, I'm very interested in doing notary for weddings.
Mhm.
And I also wanted to know, I know I was on one of the clubhouse meetings and I heard one of the presenters, she's really into it. I can't remember her name, it's been a while. But I wanted to know, how do I get started with that? And then they talked about officiants where you can actually marry.
Okay.
the individual.
So Yvette, hold on. You give me too much information, I won't be able to wrap my hands around all of it. Let's
I'm
just start with, what state are you in?
New Jersey.
So in New Jersey, are you allowed as a notarial act to perform a marriage? Is
I'm
that one of your notarial acts?
That I have to research.
Okay, I don't believe it is in New Jersey, but that's the first thing I'm going to tell you, is that one way to utilize your commission is if you're in a state that it's a notarial power for you. But if you're in a state where that's not a notarial power for you, there's another way, and it's called wedding officiant. And a wedding officiant is like somebody that's like a wedding planner and the person who conducts the ceremony and the whole 9 yards. And then they charge for that service. In order to do that, then you're likely will need to get ordained. There's there's 2 or 3 different ones. Those of you who are, if you put in the chat the ways they can be ordained online, I'm just not thinking of it. Universal Life Church is one, thank you. And there's another one. And with that ordainment, let's say, then you'd be authorized to be a wedding officiant. Now, how do you get into that business? I'm not doing that business myself, but there are other people that might be on this call, or in other ones. Celicia is one that comes to mind, who is a wedding officiant, very involved, and she's in Florida. Rainbow, was it Rainbow? If you can put it in the chat, I'd appreciate it.
Rainbow Wedding Chapel and Rainbow Notary
Thank
Nuptials.
you. So Celicia, thank you. So Celicia is actually on this call. And Celicia, would you like to share with somebody who'd like to get into wedding officiation, what kind of steps they might need to take?
Yes. Well, you have to decide if you want to stand before a crowd of people, either 2 or 1,000. Actually, I haven't been for 1,000 before, but sometimes you can have a big crowd. And you are the person who is solemnizing the license. And you can act in the capacity as a minister, or you can act in the capacity as a notary in Florida, South Carolina, Maine, and I think Tennessee and Nevada now. But it's really, a really fun thing. I even have the Rainbow Wedding Chapel, and I marry people. Matter of fact, Siobhan's out there right now, marrying folks all day long. You can get married in a minute, or we have a longer ceremony. We have all of the beautiful places in Florida to get married, by the shore or at your country club or wherever you like.
There you go. So that first you
And
need to verify that it's not a notary power for you in New Jersey. I don't believe that was one of the states. And then, you know, think about what you would be doing. Is that what you're comfortable doing? As Celicia said, you know, crowds, no crowds. And then make sure you go through the ordainment process. And then, of course, people have to know you exist. Just because you do all that doesn't mean you get work, right? So then you need to look at, you know, having a Google My Business, a website, maybe being on somebody else's website that advertises services. I know Celicia has one that does that, so that you can be out there and visible to the world that you do that.
And Laura, I'm happy to talk to anybody. If I put my number and everything in the chat, if anybody wants to call and ask me any questions off the air, I'll be.
Thank you. I appreciate.
You're welcome, Yvette. Thanks for asking those questions. Okay, Terry Kelly, hello, hello. Get unmuted.
Hi, I'm in California. Just a really quick question. You know those little passport ID cards
Yes.
instead of the real passport? Is that acceptable?
Yes.
ID?
They're
Oh,
treated just like the passport.
yay. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you, Laura.
Beautiful. Thank you for asking, Terry. Jenny, hi, Jenny Gonzalez out of Arizona. Thank you guys when you put your state next to your name. I appreciate that. Unmute, Jenny.
There you go. Hi there.
Hi.
I have a couple questions. So I heard in a TNT previously that you're going to be attending, or you're going to be presenting at the NNA Summit in October.
Yes, that is
that
true.
a virtual or is it in person?
So let me take a moment to give a plug for that. It's going to be on October 19th. It's a Zoom. It's not Zoom, but it is a virtual call. It will be all three of us, Jen Neitzel, Bill Soroka, and myself. And we will be the entire program. It's about a half a day program put on by the NNA each quarter. And this is their third quarter presentation. Information about it, more information and ticket sales will happen starting, I believe, September 1st or somewhere in that first week of September, which is next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. And then one more question, if I may. I think in last week's TNT, Bill mentioned something, or maybe it was an email that was sent out about, it was over this weekend, I think, with your meeting with them, about a list of events or a calendar of events. Is that to the NBB or?
Okay, so Jenny, are you talking about our an email that Bill sends out every week, usually by Monday, that says this week, and it lists, and there's a link in that email that says go to the calendar, and it'll tell you what is happening on what days.
Okay, because I wondered with that, which is great, which I wondered, I'm not going to be able to attend the social in Philadelphia this year because I've attended a couple other this year, but I would love to be able to see kind of like a general what the projected events are for next year, so you could kind of try to plan, or maybe plan our days
Jenny,
or our trips.
Jenny, remember that these are all put on by different notaries. They're not our events. So I'm not going to be able to give you who's doing what, because I don't know next year who is going to put on another one other than Dashika, I know is. And Philly Social may or may not be in Philly, and it may or may not be the weekend it is now. So in terms of events outside of NBB, I'm not able to do it. When we find out about it, we start announcing it, which is usually a few months in front.
Right. Okay.
But if it's NBB sponsored, then yes, you'll see it as part of our calendar.
Okay.
And of course, the summit that I was talking about is an NNA, and we just happen to be the speakers.
Right. Okay. Oh, I appreciate that. Oh, and one last thing, I'm sorry. For the NBB, so I did the certified notary trust certification. So I went through that, and I'm talking with Stephanie and the Premier Estate Planning Group. But with that invitation and certification, I was invited to participate in NBB for, I guess, a month, and then it would be the regular enrollment.
Okay.
but I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss the. I think I'm not sure what the pricing is now. It's going to change, I believe, but I want to make sure that I get locked
September
into what
1.
it is now. Okay.
So Jenny, here's what happens for you. If you're on the a 30-day, when it's over, it will automatically bill you whatever it is at that time. You're talking about MBB, right? Because CNTDA
Correct.
is a one-time fee up front. You don't ever pay for it again. So as long as you did it before September 1, then you get the price it is today. NBB is if you got the free challenge, the free access to that, at the end of 30 days, if you don't cancel it, it will just charge you at our rate.
Okay.
Automatically, it'll flip over.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your information and willingness to share all your knowledge. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for asking those questions. I'm sure others had them too. Harjeet in California. If you're available, go ahead and unmute.
Hello, I'm Harjeet from California.
Yes.
So actually, I have a very small question. I'm new in the notary field. So I have taken my commission in California, everything. I have passed my, I have joined the notary coach loan signing. So can you tell me how to do practice? Which step I have to take so that I can become familiar and expert? That's the only question today.
Okay, so you're asking opportunities to practice what you know?
Yeah, no, for the loan signing.
Yeah, for loan signings.
Yes.
You want suggestions on how you can practice what you've learned so far to be a loan signing agent?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so one of the ways that you can do that is a mock signing, which means you take the package of documents that Bill has in the Sign and Thrive, you print them out, and you get another notary friend, and you practice presenting them to that person and having them sign and filling out, make a photocopy out of your journal so you're not writing in the journal, and journaling so that you get practice at presenting, you get practice at collecting signatures and initials, and you get practice at filling out the journal. Now, if you want that led for you because you're not sure if what you would be doing is correct, I happen to have a live mock signing class that I teach one-on-one. I use a package of documents and I present them for you, and then you can turn around and present them back to me once you see how that's done.
Okay, so what's the website so that I can?
Yeah, the website for me is coachmelora.com.
Okay.
Go to the products tab and you'll see mock signing masterclass.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for asking. Okay, let me put that person in here. Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela Kinna from Rockland, California. And my question is, can we post forms on our Google Business page? For instance, to whom it may concern if your child is going abroad. I often get asked for the form because they don't have the document, but that's what they want to get notarized. Can we put samples on our business page?
Okay, that's a great question. And I just want to verify your state. Did you say Washington?
No, California.
You're California. Okay, well, actually, it's going to be the same for everybody except Louisiana. And that is, we do not provide the forms directly.
Okay.
That would be considered unauthorized practice of law, so do not be posting them. Now, certainly we can give suggestions where they might go to find them.
Okay.
So they can Google this name and find out the results. Usually they can find PDFs. That would be one way. And of course, for this simple document, that's probably the best way. But some other documents like powers of attorney or healthcare directives, I can tell them, look, you can use Rocket Lawyer or Legal Shield or wherever, right? Legal Plan, or you can Google it yourself and find the document, because there's more than one version and we don't know which is the version that is going to be accepted.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. I know it's difficult because we're trying to be helpful. But we can be helpful in a more generic sense. We just
Yeah,
can't say,
well-
and here's a sample on my website.
Yeah, no, they say things like, but you should know what the document's supposed to look like. And then I'm like, you're the expert, is what they say.
Well, no, that's not true. You mean you as in the notary?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's not a true statement.
no, okay,
I'm not supposed to know every version of a consent to treat or consent to travel. That's not my job as a notary. I am familiar with many versions, but I don't know in this particular case which is the right version for that sign. So that's the difference, right?
Yeah,
I can say, oh, they say, I need a document that gives permission for me to take my kid to Mexico. Okay, I know what that is. That's called a consent to travel. Oh, can you create that document or give it to me? No, I cannot. I'm not an attorney or a paralegal. What I can recommend is here where you might find this kind of document.
okay.
All right, because some of them have an acknowledgement, some of them have a jurat, some of them include more information than others. I don't know which is the right one. Okay. Thank you for asking, because I know that's a common document for many of us. Cliff, are you able to unmute, Cliff? Or are you tied up? And everybody else, if you could take your hands down, that would be helpful. But I'm on Cliff. All right, Cliff, if you are tied up right now and cannot or just can't unmute yourself at the moment, I'll come back to you. Phil, why is your camera not on? And you're muted.
I had to
love
put
when I
a
get to
shirt
say
on.
it.
I'm in Lake Tahoe. I just got off the beach.
Oh
I
my.
hope you can see my wet hair. I'll do a Zoom from the beach, from the lake. Actually, it's not, well, the beach, that's part of the lake. But I just want to thank everybody for being here. And it's always my pleasure. Thank you for the shirt, Jennifer. Yeah, you're welcome, Jennifer. You're right. You don't want to see that picture. I can promise you that. But I just want to invite everybody 5 minutes after we finish TNT. I'll be doing a short Zoom from beautiful Lake Tahoe. And if I can figure out if my Wi-Fi will work on the lake, I'll bring my computer over there. But 5 minutes, we'll talk about how you can protect and grow your business. And some of you, I know I've got a handful of associates in here. Those who are not associates, you know, the Jamaica promotion is ending in 3 days. The $49 associate fee will be gone. So it'll be back to the normal fee. So if you're looking for a little bit of a discount, please make sure you show up. I'll put my information in the chat and you can text me and I'll make sure you get that Zoom link. So again, thanks everybody. I really appreciate what you're doing. Tabitha's going to join me. We've got a 4-bedroom place, Tabitha. Please join us. But thanks, everybody. Look forward to seeing you 5 minutes after TNT. Take care, Laura. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Phil. I'm going to go back to Cliff to see if he was able to unmute himself, assuming he's available. And if he's not, Phil, if you'd lower your hand for me, that would be great. And I'm going to move on to Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hi there. So I've been watching the California New Notary Commission website, and it's finally reached the date to where I've taken my test. Do I log in somewhere, or is now my next step waiting for a packet in the mail?
Your next step is waiting for a packet in the mail, and that may
Okay.
still be another week or two by
All
the
right.
time you get that.
Sort of an addendum to that, if for some reason I'm denied, is there an appeals process?
There is an appeals process
Okay.
in California. I don't know why you would think you'd be denied if you passed the exam and you've completed all of the requirements, then there wouldn't be a reason for that. And if there was, you would have gotten a letter already that said no.
Okay.
So you're
Thank you
just
very
waiting
much.
on your package. Now, have you purchased your supplies and bond already?
Yeah, I got a package from the NNA when I registered for the class. So
one of the things I want to tell you is that they're told the day that it's issued. So then you might receive the bond and still not have the commission. Or you might get the commission and then where's the bond? And it's usually, they should be within a few days of each other.
Okay. And I had noticed that there is like a list of active notaries in California. Now, if someone's approved, like, does that immediately go there, or is that someone who's already submitted the bond and taken the oath, et cetera, and filed with their county?
Yeah, I don't know how that works. That's a new
Okay.
thing about the active notary, so I cannot tell you at what point they move the name there.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
but
very
you
much.
could call Secretary of State and they could tell you.
I might do that.
You might have to wait 45 minutes to an hour for your turn, but they'll tell you.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right, Rachel, thanks for asking. So Alicia, welcome back.
Thanks.
A twofer.
A twofer. So I was dropping off a defective bubble machine at the UPS. I did buy 2 of them though, so one of them works. And of course, I always hand them my card because, you know, even though they have notaries, they're not at work every day, or somebody's on vacation, or it's after hours, or they don't do I-9s. And I said, yeah, you guys don't do I-9s, you don't do all the documents, so just want to give you my card. You can't do an I-9. I said, yes, I can. As a notary, in Florida, I can be a representative and do an I-9. Well, you better not stamp it. Oh, no, sir, I don't stamp it. Okay, but as in the capacity as a notary, we check IDs. That's what we do all day long. And then the other thing, he said, yeah, and you can't notarize documents in another language either. And I said, oh, yes, I can. The notarial block has to be written in English, but I can notarize something in Spanish or Chinese or French or anything. It doesn't matter to me. The document, the grocery list, I always call it, I can notarize your grocery list. And it doesn't matter what the document is. I can notarize it. That's it.
All right.
If
What was
the
an
notarial block
education day?
is sitting. He was saying, well, I need to know what's in it. And I'm thinking, not really, no.
Yeah.
So was I right?
Yeah, you're right. Just needs to be complete, and the certificate must be your state language, and you must have direct communication unless you're in Arizona or soon to be Colorado.
Or you can have a translator, right? Yeah.
In those 2 states. Yeah. But the rest of us,
Yeah.
you have to have direct communication in your language. The document can be in any language.
The document can be in any language. Just
That's
double,
right.
triple checking. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you should visit there more often. Keep them up to speed. Okay. So, Rachel, did you have another question, or did you not just take your hand down? You could take your hand down if you don't have a question. I'm going to check in with Jeanette. Hello? Was it Janet Thompson, isn't it?
Jeanette. It's
It
Jeanette.
is Jeanette. I was right the first time? I don't
Yeah, you
know.
were
Well,
right the
thank
first-
you, Jeanette Thompson, for checking in.
Yeah, and I'm from Michigan. I caught the last end of, I think it was 2 questions to go. I got a subscription to Law Depot, and I got it initially, you know, for my personal. I needed some documents, but from the conversation that, you know, 2 questions ago, I can't use that in my business, right? Because a lot of times people want power of attorney, you know, the usual quick claim. And the only thing, you know, I can't even send that to them, correct?
Well, you can send them a link to say, here's one of the places you could go, but you cannot send the link for that specific document.
Okay. Okay. And, you know, and I've been hearing about people that's, especially when they're doing it remote, feeling that because, you know, those blanks have to be filled out, and we don't do that, right? The only thing we fill out is from our notarial language down. That's it. We don't do anything else.
That's correct.
Okay, so I just want to get a clarification on that because okay, so basically I can't use it for my business, only for my personal use.
Right.
Okay.
You can't say, oh, I got the document right here. No can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for getting clarification on that. I'm sure it helps other people as well. All right. I'm going to move to Kim, 1B. Kim, if you'll unmute yourself. Going once. Going twice. Kim, I'll come back to you and we'll see. Oh, they are. Okay. Can you hear me, Kim? Because I see you're unmuted. We cannot hear you still. So Kim, here's what I recommend. Go out, come back in and raise your hand again, and I'll go to you. In the meantime, I'm going to go to Rose.
Hi there, Laura. Hello, everyone.
What can we do for you?
I just had my first notary acknowledgement yesterday, my very first one. So I was excited, a little confused because I'm from Illinois, and in my primer, it says that for acknowledgements, the witness doesn't have to be, I don't have to witness the signature. But I wasn't understanding of that just was for the witness, that there was a line on the document. It was for a power of attorney. And on there it stated a witness.
So Rose, did the power of attorney have an did it have an acknowledgement on it,
signature
Rose?
and date? But I was confused. Yes.
I'm trying to get more information,
Yes,
Rose.
it did.
It had an acknowledgement
Yes.
on it, plus it had a place for a document witness.
Correct.
So the signer could, okay, Rose, so the signer could have signed before they ever got to you with that witness, and that witness could have signed at that time. The signer then brings you the document already completed, signed and witnessed, and you will take their acknowledgement when you fill out your certificate.
Correct. So I didn't have to look at the witness's credentials.
You didn't even
Is
have
that
to see the witness if they had pre-signed.
Okay, that was what I was confused about because she was there, but
Okay, well, you don't need anything. Maybe the
okay.
signer thought you did, but if they already pre-signed it together, you no longer need that witness as the notary.
Got it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I did everything correct. It was my very first act.
Well, congratulations. Great.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. Thanks for checking that out.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm going to come back now to Kim. Go ahead and unmute and let's see if we can hear you this time.
Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
Yeah, I can't get the camera to work, but at least I got this ready to go. So I've been looking through and going through the certification class. And yesterday, thank God, is a perfect time because yesterday I was getting my reference manual at FedEx, getting it. I had printed it all out so I could bind it. I'm walking out the door and I hear the word notary because people were talking to somebody at FedEx about notary. I turned around and I said, "Oh, do you need a notary?" She said, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, I'm a notary. What do you need?" I said, "I can just go out and get my stuff." So I go out to the car, I get my stuff. She pulls this packet out of a manila envelope, and it's not only is it like power of attorney and things like that, but it's all trust type paperwork. And it's all stuff that they've done on their own from LegalZoom or something like that. And I just kind of went, said, "Yeah, I can do this, but now they need witnesses and there's nobody around to witness." So one, I'm assuming I need to find a couple of witnesses. And I'm sorry if you hear that beeping, I can't get that to stop. But so one, I'm going to have to come up with a couple of witnesses on my own, right? And then.
Well, either you or them.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to let her know that. And then since this is the first time I've done it, and it just kind of was, I thought it was a POA, and she pulls all this other stuff out, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, crap, I haven't gone all the way through the class yet. So
All right, you can
know,
still notarize it. Just gonna have to take it one at a time. If you have any issues with the notarial part of it, you certainly could check in with myself or Jen or Bill or hotline if you're an NNA member.
okay. Yeah, not an NNA number. You know, I've had my commission for years, just never done anything with it. Didn't know I could do this. So I was like, oh, this is exciting. But yeah, I just thought I just kind of gonna
It
read through the
happens.
paperwork, right? And just
Yeah,
as the
it's just
paperwork says.
it's one document at a time.
Okay.
One
All right.
document at a time.
All right. Yeah, because it kind of freaked me out when it said witnesses. I'm like, I don't think I
Okay.
can witness that.
Well,
So
you may or may not, depends on what the will looks like. If the witness signature does not have to be notarized, you can be one of the witnesses. For instance, on the will, if it's not notarized, usually isn't, you can be one of those witnesses, but you're going to need at least one other witness. Either they provided or you provided and charge a fee for witnessing service.
okay. Yeah, because I'm in Arizona and I'm looking through the manual. I'm like, I don't know, am I
Well,
missing?
it's not, witnessing is not a document witness is not a notarial act, so you're not going to find anything in your handbook.
Yeah, because I've just been trying to go through and read a little thing about trust, and there's just this tiny little.
Remember, your handbook is about notarizing, filling out certificates. It's not about documents.
Yeah.
So you're not going to find anything about trust in your handbook. You're not going to find anything about that because the handbook is set up to discuss acknowledgments, jurats, right? What the job that we do.
Yeah. And I thought, well, maybe there would be something, but there is nothing. So, okay, I just wanted to, I was a little on the freaked out side when she pulled out an entire package of paperwork
Mm-hmm.
and it's all trust
Sure.
and will and, I'm like, and they've set it up where she has her set of documents, he has his set of documents, and then they have a set of documents together.
Yeah,
So
that's possible. They could have two separate ones. But in any case, Kim, did you have plans to take the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent course?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of it right now.
Yeah, so I'd finish that up. I'd finish up the section with all the documents.
Yeah.
If you're not there, skip to there and just walk through the documents because you're going to feel so much more confident.
Yeah, because I tried to pull out some of the stuff from my mom and I had that binder from my mom and dad, but they've passed away. My mom 5 years ago and my dad 10 years ago. So had I realized I was going to be doing this, I wouldn't have shredded the entire binder of paperwork,
Right.
which I could have used as a practice material. So,
well, we give you practice documents in the course. Download them.
I'm going to. All right.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure I'm not, since I just turned around and said, do you need a notary? Not knowing what the heck I'm doing. Just wanted to make sure I'm kind of on the same page as most everybody else.
Make sure you have a resource when you're going to have that appointment with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought about calling my lawyer to find out and see if there was anything I needed to look for as far as the state of Arizona. So other than that, I wouldn't know unless there's any other notaries from Arizona that I could touch base with as well, since it's Arizona state.
There's not a lot of difference between the states when it comes to trust, other than the actual language within the document. And sometimes they might use a jurat instead of an acknowledgement or the opposite. That's where I see the difference is. But the actual kinds of documents that are in a trust are similar across the state lines. And then if they have something specific, like they might have guardianship, they might have special needs, they might have extra deeds. I mean, that can certainly be part of it. But Kim, remember your notary work, right? So here's my document. What's your job? Find the signature line. Make sure it's complete. What's my next job? Look at the certificate. Does that meet my state requirements? If it does, fill it out. If it doesn't, replace it.
Okay.
Okay, and whether they did it right, they did it on their own. Whether they did it right or didn't do it right isn't your responsibility. That's their responsibility.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I was kind of reading through them and I thought, all right, they've got everything filled out as far as their names and whoever is going to be their trustee afterwards. They've got all that filled out, ready to go.
If it's filled out, that's their job.
Perfect. All right.
Because you don't have a lot of experience or any, and you don't have a lot of training yet because you're not done, that's the limit of what you can do to support them.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. So I'm going to get on the class then and get to the document section.
Okay, get those downloaded and see what you got. All right, Kim, thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. All right, so does X have a name and estate, please?
Yes, Gail Holloway, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, so Georgia is your state. And what was your first name again?
Gail, G-A-I-L.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you. I'm new at trying to be a notary. I have a website and I've taken the loan signing agreement, the loan signing certification with NNA, and I'm just trying to figure out how to generate revenue. And then I have another, that's one question. And then I have another question about what's a juris and an acknowledgement, because I don't know what those are. I've heard of them, but I don't really understand the difference. And what is the handbook that you guys were referring to in regards to those two documents?
Okay, well, I got 2 out of 3 of those questions. That middle one, I didn't understand your question about the acknowledgement.
I guess I don't know what the difference
is. Do you know, you want to know how to recognize an acknowledgement, or is it you need to know the difference between an acknowledgement and a jurat, or both?
Probably both.
Okay, so let's start with that easy one. An acknowledgement is the same in all 50 states. And it is that you prove that's the person who signed the document. You're not saying anything about the content of the document. You're only indicating you properly identified the signer of that document. The jurat, you must watch them sign, and then you're going to make them swear the content of their document is truthful. And so the purpose of the jurat is to hold their feet to the fire by saying everything I have said in this document is the truth. If not, I'm willing to go to prison over it. So though in both of them, both cases, we are certifying the signature. And in the case of the jurat, they are certifying that the contents of the document is true. So the shorthand for me is, do you want me to prove you signed it, or do you want to swear what you signed is truthful? And if they say, oh, I need to swear it's truthful, then I know it's going to be the jurat. If they say, I just need to prove I'm the person who signed it, then I know it's an acknowledgement.
Okay.
So that's that question. The other question, the handbook, every state, almost every state has a handbook. Georgia does as well. I don't know if your handbook, you have to buy it or if you get it free, but Georgia has their own handbook as well. And you can utilize that to look to reference notary laws in your state. Also, there's a group in Georgia. Samantha Smith ran it, but she just recently moved to Indiana. Let me see, Samantha Smith's group, GAN, Georgia Notary Network. So you might want to Google Georgia Notary Network, and there'll be people there that can help you with regard to loan signing and working with attorneys and all of that.
Okay.
And then just in general, generating revenue comes down to 2 things. You'll hear Bill and I both say this all the time. It is the via the internet, which is like your Google My Business, a website, web presence, and social media. All of these things go together to make you visible and to give a way for your clients to find you. And the other one is building authentic relationships, and GAN can help you a lot within Georgia with that as well. And building authentic relationships with those who would do the hiring for NSA work, or those who would do the hiring for any kind of work, whether it's the public or specific business. title or attorneys. Okay,
Okay, great. Thank you.
you're very welcome. All right, I have time for another one. Michelle, you are the one.
Thank you, Laura. I've been really working hard to get through the certification for trust delivery agent. And I'm at the point where you have the added portion of the pricing, which was imported from a standalone. I wanted to know first, is that going to information in there in the testing to become certified?
No.
Okay.
That was a bonus section.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. And the other thing was because I've been interrupted and I want to be able to slide it back and rehear and I can't. So I wanted to know how I would strategize getting through that. I would have to be totally
Do you get out of it? I mean, do you get out of that module and then go back to it? Does it just pick up where you can't hear it?
It picks up again right where I left off. It says resume training. Yes.
All right. So I'm not a techie person. So I personally don't have that answer. You would need to write to orders@notarycoach.com, which is Bill's team, and they could tell you. My thought is I'd zoom it ahead so it ended, so it start again at the beginning. That's how I would do it, but there may be a better way, and Bill's team might help you with that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know. I know how to go forward. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Michelle. And my last one today is going to be Terry. Hi, Terry.
Let me unmute. Can you hear me?
I hear you, Terry.
Oh, good. Okay. I have a question about generally, when you download the documents, you keep them on, I have them on my computer, and then eventually I do delete them. I read today that you're supposed to delete them immediately. Well, it just so happened yesterday, I had a phone call from somebody that I did some work for them back in April. It was a reverse mortgage, and there were all kinds of other issues going on. And there was also a power of attorney because the woman that owned the house was totally paralyzed other than her head. So she had to sign things with a pen in her mouth. So the whole thing was stressful, and the broker, the mortgage broker was retiring. So it was kind of like a schlocky kind of situation.
Okay.
I get a call yesterday from the brother, and he says that he needs the power of attorney because she's in some kind of residence now, and he can't authorize anything, and he has no trail, he has nothing. So I go back looking, and sure enough, I have not the documents, but I have all the information. So I gave him whatever information I had, and he just called me a minute ago and blessed me because he was able to get the copy of the power of attorney. Now, if I had deleted everything, I could not help him. And this was really, I will never forget, because this was a woman that was in her early 50s, and on her driver's license, she was a beautiful woman, and the doctors did something, and she's now a paraplegic for life.
Okay. So Terry, here's what I'm going to tell you is there isn't a law. This is your decision. You have to decide. Every notary has to decide how long are they comfortable being responsible for those documents. It's not just that you're holding them. You're taking responsibility for their protection for the entire time that you keep them. And if you want to keep them a year, if you want to keep them 30 days, whatever it is you decide you are prepared to handle, then you should do that.
Well, the NNA said to delete them after the signing.
The NNA is giving you a recommendation. I do not delete mine right after the signing. I hold mine until it has been completed and paid. So for me, if it's immediately that I'm paid, the same day or very relatively shortly, every month I just go through and say that's been paid, been paid, been paid, been paid, and I get rid of them.
Okay.
Now, is it my responsibility if somebody comes back 6 months later and says, do you happen to have, well, I have a journal. I could give you information from my journal because I make very good notes in my journal, and that's what it's for. I could tell you when it happened, who was there, how I identified them, if there was any special situation like signature by mark. All of these things are going to be recorded in my journal, and that's where I would go. And that's my accountability. I do not want to be responsible for people's documents longer than I need to.
Yeah,
However,
I don't
I am
have,
aware, Terry, I am aware that there are notaries that might hold on to them, you know, till forever, whatever. But all I'm saying is, what's your comfort level? What's your risk tolerance if you're hacked, that you still have documents that are long beyond the time that you needed them for the purpose that you had at hand. Once you decide where that is, whether it's a week, a month, a year, whatever it is, then that's fine. But there isn't a law, and the NNA is always going to recommend the safest route, which is get rid of them right away.
well, I went on all the information I had, and I even tried to go into the site, and the documents are no longer available. But I had names of the people that I emailed with the entire time. So that's the information I was able to give him.
My
But not the
emails,
documents.
so Terry, I keep email conversations that I keep. It's any
Okay.
emails that have documents associated. I do not keep those.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hold
Fine.
on to people's data.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
I understand that. Yes. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
You are so welcome, guys. Gosh, that hour went by really super fast, but here we are. It's 1 o'clock. I did get through all the questions. You had some great questions today. Thank you for asking me. I think they helped other people as well. A couple things. If you're NBB, I hope I see you later today, either at an orientation call at 2:30 or at our weekly accountability call at 3 o'clock. It is the same link either way. Bill has an email out. I saw it that says this week, and you can click on the link from the calendar there if you'd like. And if I don't see you there, well, I hope I see you on something else between now and TNT. Until then, make it a super fantastic Tuesday for you all. I'm going home after I'm done teaching and celebrating my younger son's birthday. We're going to Outback, so it is not Taco Tuesday at our house. We're going out and having a good dinner. All right, guys, take care. We're going to stop the call and we'll see you next time.